nataka vijana washike hatamu ya utawala katika chama chetu, ili uchaguzi kija ili ya 2027 ODM nukake Mungu na kuwa ndio chama ambayo inaunda serikali. Mko tayari?
Odinga's statement at the ODM's deputy party leader Godfrey Ososi's homecoming party on Sunday is set to send the country into further confusion in the 2027 succession matrix. President William Ruto has been keen to succeed the Odinga political bastion as Odinga gears up for the AUC bid. Last week, President Ruto invaded the lakeside city of Kisumu to a jubilant welcoming.
Now, if Raila Odinga, that has been sort of aged a little bit out of the local politics to now discuss matters of African politics and eyeing the position of chairman of AU, coming back home and saying, look, we are going to fill a candidate. And the question, therefore, that runs into the analyst's mind like ours is when he says that ODM is going to fill a candidate, is it Raila Odinga who's going to be the candidate, or is it another individual that will be picked from either a coalition of parties or ODM fraternity filling a candidate?
With the trip, goodies for the lakeside were fronted in what analysts believe was to ensure that the region supports his re-election bid.
Nilisimama hapa Kondele, nikasema siku moja nilisaidia Agwambo, na safari hii yeye amerudisha mkono, amenisaidia mimi. Mimi nawauliza, iko makosa hapo?
Categorically, what the President William Ruto is trying to do is to protect certain voting blocks by rewarding the people that they consider to lead those communities. That is important. But there is something that the old politicians are not putting into consideration, that we are not living in the Kenya of 1997 or 2000. We are living in a Kenya where the majority of the people that will decide who will be the next president in this republic will be the young people.
President Ruto's relationship with the Mount Kenya region, analyst Michael Agwanda argues, is beyond reparable, and Ruto will have to seek a new strategy to be re-elected. Most of the concerns from the central region are said to be attributed to failed promises, and most recently, the fallout with the former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua.
We have made Gachagua bigger than we could ever have made him in the history of this country and in the politics of the mountain. We've made Gachagua a real monster that if we do not know how we will deal with him, he will crush some of the very few people that actually orchestrated his impeachment. We have made Gachagua have what is called sympathy votes. Gachagua was not even liked in the mountain. He was not even liked by his own people that much.
On the flip side, Gachagua's recent actions in the region are upsetting what was once a UDA zone, and analysts claim that whereas his action may appear indifferent, the former DP may be consolidating his Mount Kenya base as he awaits the ruling challenging his impeachment.
Gachagua now has gone to total tribal politics. What he's doing is just to consolidate the so-called Murima. Remember, you could see that there was a meeting and they were trying to say now the Gema community forgot about their Kamba nation.
However, the events of 2024 are said to have changed Kenyan politics and introduced a new voting bloc, the Gen Z, that destabilized President William Ruto's government in a bid to seek radical changes within the government. The argument is that they might decide to vote for their candidate and even maybe produce the next head of state.
The case of 2027 will be more tricky, more difficult, and more challenging than our normal political rhetorics and normal electioneering period that we've had, because there's a new group in town, and that new group in town is called Gen Z, and the Gen Z most likely are going to run people out of town, and if they run people out of town, they might have a huge direction on where the next president is going to come.
It basically means that we are not just in a different dispensation, but our politics will change before or on the 2027 in a very irreversible way.
Okia Omutata has already declared his intention to challenge President William Ruto for the throne, with a section of Gen Zs throwing their weight behind him, with questions emerging as to whether he will manage an upset against President Ruto. Okia brands himself as a person different from the caliber of politicians that the country has been treated to.
Sera zangu ni kuwahamisha wananchi kutoka kwa hao mababe waje upande wangu. Sitapigana na mababe. Nitapigana na wananchi kwa badilisha mawazo waje upande wangu waone kile ninaona, alafu tushirikiane pamoja tuweze kuomboa nchi kutoka penye iko sahihi.
Kalonzo, on the other hand, is seen as not keen to have Odinga's support after extending his support for the former Premier Raila Odinga 3 times. Kalonzo is salivating at the disgruntled mountain with hopes that the region will give him a backing. Already preparations are underway for such, as was seen during the Gema Association meetup that welcomed the Kamba Nation back into Gema. If Gema backs Kalonzo in totality, Kalonzo might have a huge head start of not less than 3 million votes without factoring in his Ukambani backyard.
Go to Gema, we'll only land him again to Raila's camp. However much he runs from Raila's camp, but at the very end of it, when they try to reorganize like they always do, their tribal politics, Kalonzo will go back to Raila's camp.
For now, calculations and political games remain in course as the 2027 race takes shape. Martin Opio, K24 TV, Nairobi.